Mad Genius of Rock and Roll. Mad Genius of Rock and Roll.
They believe anything.
Right? Yes.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me this morning. I've got my co-host Rion and Darante in the back, eager to join us this morning. We're gonna talk about all kinds of fun stuff. I hope. We'll be back in just a minute. I don't think I gave you guys the Pharaoh's Curse yesterday because we did so much Wild Bill. I'm going to give that to you, and that gives me a moment to ponder and pray before the show.
Mi burrito es tan bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco fue no bueno, it stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister, now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning. I am joined here by my co-hosts, Darante Lamar and Rion Cultastic. How are y'all doing today?
I'm doing
Fabulous.
pretty good, man. Doing pretty good.
It's been a pretty good morning, man. We already had the conversation started. We was getting,
Yes.
Right out the gate, Chris.
we've come up with a new product line for Father Flanagan's, by the way. I'm very proud. I think that was a combination Rion, Darante, Chris situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was-
Mostly
threesome.
Rion, I think.
It was
Yeah,
a threesome.
I just spilled coffee on myself. That's never fun.
Good job.
Good
Oh,
job.
no.
Good job. Been
Oh,
drinking
man.
coffee long. Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys had a good evening. I'm going to sit here and cry.
Oh, don't cry.
Clean
It's
yourself
not
up a
hot.
little bit.
At least it missed the zone of pleasure. You know, that's really.
Oh,
there
that.
you go.
Yikes.
Like we
Can I
were
tell you a
saying
story about that?
backstage, you couldn't go into the temple,
Yeah,
the holy of the holies of that screw.
you would need the new tool.
That is very true. That's like, oh my goodness. That's good. It was like God trying to smite me. I nearly
Right.
avoided a crotch smiting.
It was prophecy,
No
man.
teeth, God, no teeth.
Oh, snap. Oh, man.
Yeah, what the kid? I don't know. So
New costume idea for the evil one.
Oh
Wake
my
you up in the middle of the
goodness.
night one night, just a big set of teeth coming at you.
Oh,
Again.
Again.
Reminds me of our honeymoon.
oh man.
I know, right? Thank you, improv class. Good morning. You guys made me blow coffee out my nose right here on the show, and we haven't even introduced everybody.
That is awesome.
That's bad. Yeah, it's coffee in the crotch, coffee in the nose. I'll be okay.
I don't know. I just had a very brief daydream of God coming down while they were doing the sacrificing of the goats. And then it's like, guys, what are you doing? I said sacrifice your goatees, not your goats.
Or your gonads.
Oh man.
Oh, man. What a
That's
show.
good.
God really just doesn't like facial hair. That was the
Right.
thing.
Y'all need to learn to
Or
listen.
struggle hair.
Right? That's right.
Just ask Austin Power, or was it Dr. Evil?
Oh, man. Evil.
Talking about how he liked to have a freshly shown scrotum. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great day so far. It's show's going on. So, okay. Let's see. Let me say hi to the chat. Simply Secular Dave is here. Andrew Christopherson is here. Sued. Good morning. Nice to have you with us. Jesse Bear. We need a Father Flans brand crotch protector to avoid burns in the no-no zone. Oh, that's a good idea. We were talking about.
Not my
Yes,
no-no zone.
We were talking about that's a great idea. But we should add that to the Father Flanagan's roadside scrotum repair kit we were talking about.
Yes,
You
indeed.
can't go up to the altar with a damaged scrotum.
You cannot.
Am I right?
You cannot.
Or-
That's right.
That's right.
That's
This is,
right.
of course, is part of the You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program. That's not really a Catholic thing, I don't think, so much as it is an ancient Hebrew deal. But
Oh, man.
yes, let's see. Smoke and a pancake. Oh, that's good. Rainbow Wrath, thank you for joining us this morning.
Rainbow.
Working, driving, lurking, and listening. Stay safe. Send safely out there.
Or not.
Adam is here. John
Yeah.
Hudson is here. It really is quite refreshing. Shaved, grow it back. Growing it back is the pain. It itches.
It does. It does.
And you know, I remember this one time. I had this trimmer I used to use for my face hair, and it's all right. You know, I never had any problem. I thought one time I just kind of like zip down there. Man, it was like Jaws teeth on that wrinkly skin.
Oh.
It did not like that. I mean, and you could hear it dig into it. It's like,
Oh, no.
there was this screaming sound. I think it was me, and then I passed out.
Oh, my goodness.
How'd you get the
Yeah.
beans above the Franks?
Oh, to be.
No, that's. I don't know. I think the emergency assistant did that. Chris, what does the female version of the scrotum kit look like? Oh, you know, I don't know. I don't think the Catholic Church would really care, would they?
Man.
What do they care if it gets blown out?
Yeah, well, they're more focused on the men, little boys.
Yes. Nightmare Revisited. With trimmers, there was too much blood. I know. This is like Friday the 13th or some shit in my shower. Oh my God.
That was actually
My nightmare.
that happened in the Righteous Gemstones. The dad was trying to manscape and it went bad. It went bad.
Oh, good morning, Skeptic. Yes, yeah, we were talking about manscaping like the Wes Craven version of manscaping. Remember those
man.
testicles you used to have?
No longer.
Dyslexia Jones. I just got to notice that my religious brother, who is always preaching to me, has yet another court hearing. I'm on an app that alerts me to his court case.
That tracks. That tracks.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is it with these religious folks, man?
Oh man,
What's the point?
Yeah.
man. I think I said in one of my videos that the Bible is it's the makings of a monster 101. You read this long enough, you believe it long enough, you end up justifying the most monstrous things in yourself. And so I've seen a pastor when one of his female praise and worship leaders didn't want to give up the rights to her song. I've seen him take his car keys, put them in this side of his hands, and slap her in front of her husband.
Damn.
Damn.
And because he was the bishop, the husband didn't do anything.
Damn.
It's crazy out here. It's the Wild Wild
never.
West, man. It's the Wild Wild West.
Never, ever, never.
Ever.
No.
Oh, we would have been rolling in there. Like it would have.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would have gone down very fast.
Yes.
Very quickly.
I would have been an
You might
atheist
kick
so
my
much
ass, but you're
quicker.
gonna know I was pissed. Yes.
Oh, damn. Got him.
Yeah, no doubt. Ambushed apostate, Giles skeptically pissed, manscaping. I ended up looking like a Cenobite from
Hellraiser.
Is that because
Oh
of your what's that thing called? Your something? What's that thing? Oh man, the piercing.
Ooh.
Oh, the
This
Prince
just got
Albert?
deep.
The Prince
Oh.
Albert. Yes, the Prince. Are you a Prince Albert person? Is that what you're talking about? Manscaping. You know? Yeah. I mean, I would be very worried if I had one of those and got near like a magnet or.
Oh,
Lee
man.
Bro said I'd be playing Whack-A-Bishop. I love that. Whack-A-Bishop.
Yeah.
Whack.
I could see jail time in my future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know though, right? I mean, that's
Oh,
defending your female. I call it defending your wife, your partner,
Yeah.
your mate.
Yeah,
you know?
that should have been a fight. That, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know how there's a marriage that lasted after that. Because
Oh, no.
there's, like, if that was my daughter and they came and told me that story, yeah, Dad. And then, you know, it was the bishop. So my husband just stood there. Oh, and
Yeah.
this would be, so my daughter got slapped in the face with keys in her hands. But, oh, bro, like, it was bopping the bishop.
Had
Oh,
that
man.
happened to the evil one, it wouldn't have been a me on him thing. It'd have been a we on him thing. 'Cause she'd have
Yes.
been back in there too.
You probably
At
have
the
to
end,
try
I'd be
to
like,
hold
baby,
her
baby,
back.
stop, he's down on me.
He's had enough. He's had enough, babe. He's had enough.
Please don't kill the man.
Right.
Oh, man.
I had some temporary insanity going on there.
You'd be surprised though how much control some of these pastors have over their members and what they will allow their pastors to do. I've had a pastor threaten to kick me in my chest when I was 17 years old. This was an adult pastor, and this was in a staff meeting, and all the adults sat there and act like it was okay. Nobody got upset until I leaned in and said, "I wish you would." And then everybody looked at me like, "How dare you say that to the
Right.
pastor?" And I was like, "Are you
Wow.
kidding me? Oh yeah. Oh yeah."
That's messed up.
It is. Well, Raven Lunatic says, isn't whacking the bishop a euphemism for masturbating?
It is now.
Probably a chess euphemism.
It
I
is
dig
now.
it.
I love
I
it.
dig it. I dig
I love it.
it. I'm stealing that. Prince Albert's are major problems going through TSA. I can only imagine.
Ooh. Do you have to pull it out? Because then I'd want to get a Prince Albert just because I'd have to pull it
for
out
that.
every time. I'm
Yeah.
at the...
Yeah. Show my pride. You know, before I just wanted to show the TSA my dick. Now I have to. If I did it beforehand, they got mad at me. If I put Prince Albert in there, they require it. I don't
They
know.
require it.
Not my decision.
Talk about a dichotomy right there.
You just have to imagine the look on their face when they're waving the metal detector over your body, and then it gets down to the tip. Like that.
It was like, is that a Prince Albert, or did you just have knee surgery? It's a pin in my knee.
Oh man. Oh man.
You guys, you can see just from my skin tone, that's not a true joke. Goodness gracious. Is Jesse Bear here this morning? Good morning, Jesse Bear. Nice to see you this morning. Gile, Simply Secular Dave. One of my church's married pastors was fooling around with someone else's wife. Oh my goodness, that's like a theme, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. That's. I'd be surprised if you
happens
could
a
find
lot.
a church where that hasn't happened.
Right?
Really?
I have a few
And in that
friends.
church, they just haven't been caught yet.
Yep.
Yep, that's
Obi
it.
Atheist. Hey, you're riding a horse full speed. There's a giraffe next to you and a lion chasing you. What do? Get your drunk ass off the carousel.
Like,
I was
oh,
thinking
my
he
quarterback.
giraffe, but okay.
oh man.
Look at the trees. I have a metal shin. Now I have a good joke, Chris. It's not a shin. It's my Prince Albert.
I just look at him and
All the
give
way
him a
down
wink.
there?
You know what it is. I'm blessed like that. Like, oh man.
Yikes.
Oh my goodness gracious. You guys ain't right. We ain't right. Follow, push. I put the video link in the Discord meme page. Okay, cool. April 30th, Veterans Rally. Okay, I tell you what. Would you post the Jesse Bear? Thank you for. That's the one. I'm gonna pin this message she's got. If you'd like to support, they're gonna have a protest. It's veterans going to protest Donald Trump stuff in DC on April 30th. Veterans Diversity Rally in DC. And so I pinned the link to the Cash App info there. If you'd like to support them financially, they could use the coin. Thank you very much for that, Jesse. Let me go here. Have you guys shared this stream yet? Are you sharing wonderful people, or are you not sharing wonderful people?
Sharing is caring.
So is staring. It is. That's what I say. Others call it peeping.
Little voyeurism has never hurt anybody.
Right. Well, some eyes. Cost an eye or two, I'm sure.
Well, that's what happens when you use the glory hole the wrong way.
You're not supposed to look in the hole, man.
Staring down the barrel.
You're gonna put your eye out.
That's not how it works. Let's go. You shared the screen. I'm gonna do the thing. Yes, no, but liked. Because I'm doing this thing. I'm a slacker, and I forgot to do this more. So I'm gonna go. No, you suck. There we go. Boom. I got a little poll up there for. I know. I always give them the option to tell us if we suck or not.
I just shared.
Yes. Did you think?
Share it.
I did.
Darante, this guy over here, his channel is now approaching 20,000. Or have you passed 20,000 subscribers?
I think we've passed it. Yep, we passed it because I did the celebration thing yesterday. Hallelujah. Hey, shout out about sick.
Could you imagine giving God all that glory too?
And I did. Yes. Oh my goodness. It took me forever to get out of that. Like everything I did, glory to God. People come, oh, you did this. All glory to God. That's not me. That's
Joe Pesci did that, not me.
And it's like, no wonder you're so depressed, man. You're never feeding yourself. You're never giving yourself credit. Yeah. You're giving it all away. You have, like, I had to literally look myself in the mirror and say, you have destroyed your self-esteem by giving all of this glory to God. You've got to start saying things you say about God, about yourself. And that's what I actually start, I was still active in churches even when I stepped away. That's what I started teaching praise teams is spend some time singing all of these songs you sing about God. Sing some of this shit to yourselves, okay? Because you deserve some of that, you know? And it actually worked. It worked. They feel the same presence when singing those songs to themselves as they would when singing them to God. Just by looking at each other singing, you are good, everything is gonna be fine and stuff like that. I'm like,
right.
I like that.
Yep.
And who goes out and does the actual work to make the shit happen? You do.
Yep. Come on now.
Yep. Jesse Bear says the rally will also be remembering the diversity of military history that Donald Trump is attempting to erase because he is. It's just shameful what they're doing. We are having veterans from all backgrounds speaking. Just imagine being one of those goose steppers, one of those brown shirts out there whose responsibility is to find this stuff in the historical museum or wherever and go, hey, we need to remove this because it's a black person or it's a woman or what kind of piece of shit are you that's up there doing that for Donald Trump? And if you are, at least I hope you're like leaking this stuff to the press or secretly working on our side too, because man,
please do. Please. Because if you're not, I'm going to have some questions for you.
Isn't it?
I'm going to, man.
I mean, women and black people, they're going after, especially people of color, really.
Oh yeah.
Really. But what was it? Jesse Owens, all kinds of people they've been erasing from all different types of places. Yes, so there's the Cash App for that. Go help. They're looking for, they need this is especially for the disabled veterans or veterans place. So you can imagine they're going to need, all places really need disabled access, but that's what they're raising the funds for. So go help them out if you can. Chris, and the unions, the unions actually saved the upper class from getting the guillotine. Because it was all heading that way, just like it is now. And then they invented the unions, which actually kind of deflated that thing and kept the ultra rich from getting. I don't know. That's just y'all go look it up. Don't trust me.
I mean,
Listen to
unions
someone.
have their history. They are there for a specific reason, and you're right. It's just to play middleman. I mean, I guess it's better that than nothing. I guess I really don't know.
Oh no, I'm all about the unions.
Yeah.
They've really gone and helped a lot of people. I remember when I was a kid, for some reason, thinking the unions were bad. I don't remember why. And then whenever I went to visit with my dad, I found out he was actually part of the Teamsters unions. And then he explained what they do is they take care of you, make sure your employer, you know, and then I'm like, oh, well, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
And it does make sense that they would need something to help. It's kind of like to convince the ultra rich that, listen, you need to give these people something or they're going to come haul you off and eat you. And that's kind of the middle, because the rich will just, so that's kind of, they're good in a way, but it's
just organization, period. And that's the one thing that I hope Americans like learn from this lesson here, is that there is no future where you just get to live your individual life and not be organized around the things you want to see happening. That's how we get here. And that's why unions became so important, because employees as individuals, you don't matter. You don't matter as a single individual. You say, you know what? I hate the way you're treating me. So what? But 500 employees saying that I don't like the way you're treating me, and we will all walk out unless you fix it. That's power. But you don't get that just from reaction. You have to be intentionally organized towards that. And you're right. It's sad that we need that, but that's damn sure the reality that we live in.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and that's why Trump and even Elon Musk and people like that talk about union busting.
Yep.
And not needing unions and getting rid of unions so they can exploit the people even more so. And
Amazon and Walmart, I think they're some of the biggest advocates against unions. I think
as they would
now.
Because the second richest man in the world who owns Amazon couldn't afford to pay his people a reasonable rate.
Come on.
And
against unions.
The Walmartians are like some of the richest people in the world. Is that not true?
Oh, yes. They're up there.
And the people who work there are the biggest proponents of our medical assistance and food programs.
Financial assistance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they lean on the government more than anybody else in Walmart employees because they don't pay them enough to, you know.
I remember my family trying to make me work for Walmart when I was younger and try to make me think that was like a good job. And I was like, oh, you have lost your man.
I'm glad you realized.
No. I was like, I think my standards are a little higher than yours. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Good morning, Carrie Ann Chrysler. Thank you for joining us. Austin Sims, thank you for being here this morning. Good to see you again. Nancy, hugs. Don't forget, any of you guys are going to any events anywhere, y'all let me know, because I want to make some of these events. Good to see you. Nice to see you. And Carrie Ann Chrysler, thank you for joining us this morning. All you wonderful people. Obi Atheist says, one of the things I love, though it's going to hurt more, is that a lot of the countries are basically giving Trump the finger and not playing Trump's game. You know, I don't really want to see America hurt either.
Yeah.
But if they capitulate and Trump gets his way, it'll just be worse. Later. What happens is they need to hold to their guns right now. Trump needs to fall. And then we need to get back to regular society, and then we can start negotiating. But I really hope they just hold their guns out. Some of them, I'd like to think that once he gets desperate and he starts pulling off tariffs because shit's going so bad that he's trying to get the economy back, that I hope they keep the tariffs up until he's gone, you know, kind of situation. I don't want like I say, I don't want bad things to happen to the United States, but the longer he's in there, the worse it's going to be.
Yep.
So.
And I heard he's digging in his heels when it comes to the tariffs. So.
Oh yeah.
And they're already putting fences up. A couple of days ago, they started putting fences up around the White House again. Yeah. No, just like they did back during his, you know, because they're expecting shit to get worse. And now even billionaires are starting to come out against him because they're losing fortunes.
Does that not tell you something? Like why are you not listening? Read the country, bruh.
Read the country,
right.
Bruh.
And this has, I think, more to do with Vladimir Putin and Trump being a puppet of Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir Putin trying to destroy the United States. I think it has more to do, because Trump's got all the money in the world. He doesn't need money. He's never going to be prosecuted, none of that business. you know, but now he's going to be a full-blown Mussolini. If you go look about what happened with Mussolini, you know.
Yeah, like the steps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's written in history. It's not like we can turn our eyes blind to it.
Right?
Yeah. True. That's true. And that link is pinned there. We'll leave that up there, Jesse Bear. Just feel free to remind everybody to go help, because the sooner, you know, they're running out of time. Let's see. JT, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Bomb Poppy finally dragging in this morning.
Good morning.
I mean, right? Good morning, Bomb Poppy. Thank you for joining us. Daryl is here. The peasants are gathering their torches and pitchforks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, some people see the writing on the wall. You know, the guy who wears his kid around on his shoulders to keep the headshots at bay. I mean, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
The peasants are all right. So, Bomb Poppy, good morning. Look at the trees, Jesse Bear. I'm just making sure I caught up with everybody. Awesome. Okay, so I think it's time. What I want to do is I'm running us a quick commercial. I'm really waiting for Trina DeLuca to show up, because she is one of Wild Bill's biggest fans, and she's going to be so stoked when she finds out there's a new Wild Bill out. But I haven't seen her yet. So as soon as I see her, we're going to run a commercial. So if y'all see her, hit the alarm or alert or whatever, and let me know. So because I want to show her Wild Bill. She's dying. She's really going to. All right. So here we go. Commercial. Let's do. Boom. I don't want to do that one. I don't want to do that one yet. Let's do this one. Conspiracy.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirowin. Conspirowin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. Conspirowin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and Conspirowin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirowin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin.
Sorry.
Glad we didn't.
All right. So, you're glad now. So you were saying, we were talking about solar and stuff off the show, and Brian was saying she started to go with the Tesla solar. Was it roof or the battery?
Roof. Well, no, not the roof. I'm sorry, because I don't know that was available at the time. But somebody else for the panels, and then possibly the battery from Tesla. But thank goodness that didn't happen.
Yeah. Thank you, Raven Lunatic, for $5. Says, I know America likes to live in a bubble, but even if Trump and his cronies want to rewrite history, the rest of the world will still remember.
Yay.
That's very true.
Appreciate that.
It's true.
There are things that's true. That's true. There's also something else, though, that's a little different than it used to be. I don't know. It's just like there'll come a time to where if you shut down the internet, there'll be this information black hole to where if the internet or what's held on the internet is destroyed, because we don't put everything in books anymore, you know what I mean? There'll be this entire thing, so much of our intelligence will be destroyed because it's not really in books. It's all on the internet or in databases or something like that. And if somebody who controlled all that information, somebody who owned like the internet or, like fucking Elon Musk.
Yeah.
The Internet
You know?
Archive, that's like one of my favorite spots to go for books online.
Oh yeah.
And that has been under attack for quite a while now. And they are the holders of so much information. It's like the online Alexandria library going down.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
conservatives doing it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. OB Atheist says, Chris Mallard, here's a question for you. Do you think the Dems should welcome Elon back into the tent when he finally figures out that the pain is too much playing with? No. Matter of fact, Elon Musk should be arrested and tried and imprisoned for breach of intelligence, for invading people's privacy, for all kinds of things. There's
Things
what they have
involved
been
with our
doing is
voting system, like
so many things. He should never breathe free air again, ever. As an example.
Bye.
Yeah. Just my thinking. But you asked, right? I'm still allowed to have an opinion so far.
I will.
Absolutely.
That damn Third or Fourth Amendment, whatever it is. Have you seen those things where they're like, what's the most important amendment? You know, the one you get to have guns, that First Amendment. I'm like, wait, you see them all the time. Do shit like that. Rembrandt, is this the Listen to Jesus or Burn Forever podcast? It is. Welcome to the Atheist Morning Show. Actually, it's more, I misread that. It's the Listen to, okay, you're right.
Welcome, my child.
Or Burn Forever podcast. That's right. I dig it. We should steal that. Pavel D is back. Pavel, where have you been? I mean, we missed you. Your familiar Musk wasn't around. Nice to have you back. Good to see you. Why? Because weed, bro? Thank you. We smell your regular musk. Most of us.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, it's a green musk. Because weed, bro. Yes, give him what he wants. Mars. That's not a bad idea.
Send him to Mars.
Yeah, as soon as possible. On a Boeing.
Or the galaxy.
Oh, that's gonna go bad.
Yes.
On a Zephyr. Float away.
OB Atheist, thank you. Yes, I would not have asked if I didn't. Okay, good answer. Yeah. With the carbon footprint and overall life of solar panels, not convinced that it's economic or violently beneficial at this time. There's so many different things about it that make them. There's the goods and bads about them, I'm just going to go with the goods for me at this point.
Yeah. Get it.
If we can put them on our house, because right now all the houses around us, not all of them, but a great many of them have solar. They don't have enough links to put all the solar back into the system that all these houses. So that's why we were in a red zone for so long. They had to spend millions of dollars to upgrade their links. But they're getting their electricity free from all these houses.
Wow.
Or mostly free, right? And then they're charging those of us who don't have that stupid amounts for our electricity. And it's like, it's really gotten crazy. So why, now at this point, if I could have a solar panel and a battery to where I didn't have to rely on them at all, only in emergency situations, I absolutely would, just because. J Mike is here.
J Mike.
Have you really looked at the trees, though? I'm starting to see the god in a very specific rock, one that apparently likes babies. Is it attracted to babies? You throw the rock at the babies.
Oh, yes.
I think we should dash some heads against that rock.
To the babies. I'm sorry. I mean to the babies, not at the babies. What'd you say, Miss Ryan?
I said we should dash some heads against that rock. It sounds like a great idea. Happy would be the person who would do such a thing.
Happy.
You know what?
Should be the person who dashes the billionaire. I mean, baby.
We're starting a new conversation series next weekend called Happy Little Accidents. And the first conversation we'll be talking about evolution, abiogenesis, and even unplanned pregnancies, talking about those happy little accidents in life. And then in the second one, the name of that one will actually be Look at the Trees. Even though that one will be more philosophical and it will be about weed. And so that will be a fun conversation as well. Happy little accidents.
Well, we were threatened to do a Weed Wednesday kind of show.
Yes. Oh man, I would love it.
We might have to work that up, or one of these evenings or some business. I don't know. Let's see. OB Atheist and J Mike. Remember, send me an email, Chris@thedamnshow. and I'll get you a link. Otherwise, I don't have a way to contact you. I don't think. Or I'd get you a link.
Damn
Pop in
show.
and hang with us. You know.
Yeah.
Jesus won't be the mediator for you?
Weed Wednesday. Weed Wednesday. Yeah. We should just call We should just call Wednesday Weeds Day. Weeds Day from now on.
I take it. Weeds Day. Yeah, yeah.
Does anyone second that motion? Can you make that happen?
I concur.
Yep. There it is. Yay! It's finished. Motion approved.
There has
Motion
not.
approved.
I am a damn puppy cuddler. There has been. Oh, look at this little guy. What are you doing down there?
Hash Wednesday.
Instead of Ash Wednesday. Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, y'all know I started a holiday, so I am definitely adding. We started a holiday to take over the Easter season, and so I am definitely adding Hash Wednesday to our calendar
lightning
of
bolt or
events.
something.
That is
Love it.
Crawl.
yes.
Yes, Ash Wednesday. That's fantastic.
That is beautiful.
Ollie is here. He was just laying down there.
Ollie.
Did you yawn again?
Ollie,
oh,
look
you
at
always
that
got to steal the
beautiful
show by doing the
yawn.
yawn, don't you? He's so cute. He's like, put me down, old man. We recorded a stone video with the Kentucky Atheist coming 420. Oh, perfect.
Yes.
We got some Ollie on the screen. And also, like I say, guys, if y'all see Trina DeLuca, we've got a brand new Wild Bill Wigglestick. If for those of you who've not seen the Wild Bill, we've got a brand new Wild Bill Wigglestick episode, and we're going to watch it shortly. But actually, what we need to do now is we need to go ahead and do our Theocracy Watch, because Ryan is ready to drop some knowledge upon us. Let's go here.
You're tuned into the Atheist Morning Show on the DAM Network. And this is Theocracy Watch.
What kind of church insures itself against child abuse? The kind that knows it's not a question of if, but when. Good morning, fellow heathens, and welcome back to Theocracy Watch, where we lift the veil on faith and the systems that protect predators, not the people. So yesterday we discussed the Diocese of Norwich in Connecticut, which agreed to pay out $31 million to survivors of clergy sexual abuse, eventually leading to Chapter 11 bankruptcy, in order to pause lawsuits and control payouts. Many of you were shocked to hear there are actual insurance companies that specialize in covering churches for sexual abuse claims. This is a common situation, y'all. So here are some examples to peruse while we dive a bit into this subject. Okay, so there is Great American Insurance Group, Brotherhood Mutual, Church.
Brotherhood. Wow.
I know the names are ironic, y'all. I'm telling you. Church Mutual, Ministry Pacific, and there's Ecclesiastical out of the UK, just to name a few. Oh, brother, the irony, I tell you. The policies usually go names by like sexual misconduct and molestation, liability insurance, abuse and molestation coverage, and sexual misconduct liability coverage. Yay. These are standardized terms in church risk management. So if they sound clinical, it's because they are. They aren't saving souls. They're liability planning and insulating the institution from accountability.
Wow.
Take that off, put myself
crazy.
back on. Yeah. So policies like these started back in the 80s and 90s after decades of church abuse scandals came to the surface. And insurers realized that they were the ones on the hook. So instead of getting to the heart of the matter, institutions like the Catholic Diocese in Dublin were buying this kind of coverage as early as 1987. The Catholic dioceses across the U.S. aren't the only ones with this type of coverage, though. Many mainline Protestant denominations are carriers of these policies, as well as independent megachurches with legal teams. And likely churches with a paid staff will have general liability with these terms. Some churches, especially the Catholic diocese, do what is called self-insure by pooling funds together. They create a shared risk fund or captive insurance company. That means they decide how much to pay out, how long to fight survivors in court, and how much gets disclosed. And this is unconfirmed, but based on the JW legal structure and the massive real estate holdings that they have, I believe it's highly likely that they probably purchase or do the self-insure, in-house as well. And as mentioned earlier, bankruptcies can be tactical for churches. Declaring Chapter 11 pauses lawsuits and freezes new claims. It lets the church time the payouts, negotiate lower settlements, and protect their property and pensions. Got to protect the pockets. It often prevents internal documents from being released to the public. So instead of repenting, churches simply rebrand. And let's not forget the NDAs many survivors are forced into signing. So the institution walks away clean while the survivors are the ones carrying the guilt.
Yep.
If your place of worship has the same kind of coverage as a public school bus company or a nightclub,
Yikes.
it's time to stop pretending they are morally superior, y'all. Protecting kids shouldn't be part of risk management. It should be part of the business model. Protect kids at all costs.
Right.
Child abuse shouldn't be insured like a cracked window. And if this is how religious people prepare for the worst, maybe the worst isn't behind us. It's built into the fabric of their future. How can a holy place preach purity while budgeting for rape?
Yep.
Until next time, this has been Theocracy Watch. Stay curious.
Wow. That is, and if they spent the time and effort and the money just prevention and awareness, then oh my goodness. And yet it's just an insurance.
Instead, they go right to the Band-Aid. How do we protect ourselves?
Yes.
Not how do we stop it? How do we get to the heart of the problem?
Not how do we protect the children,
Right. Oh,
That's
right.
not even no. I mean, I understand that some of the insurance will go to survivors to, for their healing process and whatnot. But again, if you could prevent it, isn't that the key?
Oh, right. Right. And then any survivors have to fight tooth and nail to get anything. They have to go through the humiliation of all the suing them and the police, just everything they have to go through. And then to have to fight to be compensated.
The church is pulling those strings, especially when they're the ones pulling the money. They determine when and where and how. And just pulling them along breaks my heart.
And the overall awareness about how everybody knows, so much so that groups of churches will get together and pull together a fund to cover that. And then these same bitches will be out there holding signs talking about how gay people or trans people or atheists, we're all sinners, we're miscreants, we're sexual deviants. Right. And yet they actually buy insurance. They have to buy insurance.
That's insane.
That's crazy. But hey, it's no big surprise from Christians, with their projection. What do they call it? If they're making every accusation
is a confession.
Is a confession.
Yes.
Yeah. So, goodness gracious. Thank you very much for Theocracy Watch today. I appreciate it.
Yes. Man.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, guys.
Promethean Otaku. A lot of dioceses now are falling apart and having to sell their churches. Two Muslim groups. Oh my goodness, it can't be. Well, the thing about a Muslim group I could think about, I would just think it's harder for the females or any victims in those particular religions to do any real reporting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, much more difficult there. We haven't gotten to that religion because it's not really on our doorstep per se, but
humanists have got to become an occupying force. Nature abhors a vacuum. So if we do win the war of attrition against Christianity, but we don't replace it with something else will creep in. And for the U.S., that something else would likely be Islam. And so I hope that we as humanists can see that afar off and start making sure that, as these churches are crumbling, we need to be the ones scooping up these buildings. We need to become an occupying force. We need to make it damn near impossible for superstitious organizations to group up anymore. They shouldn't have any space to do it because, almost like Forrest Gump, this seat's taken. This seat's occupied. We got this building. I'm sorry, we got this store. Nope, Lifeway can't go here. We got this store. Nope, not needed.
That's not a bad idea. An intellectual uprising.
Yes.
Yes. And it's not about being an intellectual. It's about educating other people, becoming an intellectual. You don't have to have a 200 IQ to be somebody who reasons and knows.
And compassion. Compassion goes a long way, and stop being apathetic about stuff.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't affect you.
I believe, and I could be wrong, but there's a genetic brain form or shape or some business like that predisposes people to being religious. I believe that there's just something in the brain that I want to say that I'd have to go look at the research, but I believe there's certain thing in the and also I would not be, and this is going to sound way out there ugly, but I would not be surprised if you were to find that same brain formation or change that's different than the normal brain is also responsible for the child SA. It's a similar part of the brain.
Wow.
I know it's a big thing.
I can't wait till we're able to really get into that scientific, where we just know more and probably can pinpoint the similarities between.
Yep.
Yeah. Because you ask yourself, why does it happen so much to those people?
Oh, yeah.
That specific demographic. Why?
They're primed.
Yep.
Right. They're primed. I mean, there's a specific, and could it be as simple as a pill?
Right.
That could cure hyper-religion and pedophilia. That would be interesting. Because, what's crazy talk? Brain. Because whenever I was writing the book back in 2015, the wife and I were doing the research, and they had a study that showed people with a larger amygdala, which was the brain's fight or flight area. Yeah. Those people tended to be more conservative. And another part of the brain that's, I can't remember what it was. I'd have to go read it again. But, the combination between these two parts of the brain really could determine what kind of personality you had and whether you tended to be more religious or less religious. And the aliens that were attacking actually used that. They spread a virus among us that would alter the brain and make those people who tended to be more religious because they wanted to follow them as a war. And those who didn't qualify, the virus that they spread would actually kill off a good portion of them, depending on how small the amygdala was. And it would cause blood, nose, and like a heptavirus kind of thing, where all your, so if you were in church and you were one of those people who had the virus, you'd start flopping about and they would think there was a demon in you, right? Because you're bleeding out your orifices. People are rushing to their churches, spreading this stuff, and then they give it to Bob over there, who's just there. He doesn't really believe. He's just trying to get laid by Cindy, who's a real believer, and Bob's amygdala doesn't match. And, a couple of days later, Bob gets all sick, and he's bleeding out his orifices, and, based on the structure of the brain.
Wow.
Right?
And good idea. Don't give the aliens any ideas, though. Please.
Don't give the conservatives any
We're going out first. Oh, yeah, gosh, right. They're probably already working on it. Too late.
They would use that. I have zero doubt they would use that. The amygdala is the fear center of the brain. Indeed. And so the larger that is, the more likely you are to be conservative. Also, the more likely people are to react to things with disgust. Ew. That kind of person, that's the same person that tends to be more religious as well, by studies. But again, Chris is a jackass on the internet. Do not take what I say. Go look for it yourself.
Yep.
When we talk about this kind of thing, don't listen to me. Go look. I'm going to look it up. I remember looking it up and finding certain things a decade ago whenever I was writing my first book. Second.
Man.
Surely there's better studies now.
You'd hope.
Yeah. Well, up until now, because they're destroying all the scientific research in the United States. They just gutted the cancer research centers in the United States, closed them all down. I mean, these people are destroying our country.
Man.
Yeah. Thank you, Vladimir Putin. He's destroying our country. That's why I think Donald Trump is intention to do it, destroying our country on purpose.
Absolutely intentional, for sure. Sure.
Because he's not fixing up his own house. This is his house. He's the president of this house. He should be going through here and making it all gold like he does the presidential office. But no, he's destroying his house.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, is one man's gold is another man's poop. His gold is not our gold.
That's true. Have you seen what he
For
did
him.
to why do so many people get more conservative as they age? Millennials buck that trend, though. Yeah, see, that's the thinking. They used to think that people would get more conservative as they age, and that could be
I got less.
due to change of formations, of brain formation changes over time. For due to almost anything, diet. You know, I mean, there was the gray generation. Do you guys remember the gray generation? I'm gray, but my dad's generation, there was something about them. They were part of the, what did you call them? The great generation from World War II, the 40s and 50s. And, you know, and they had a lot of heart attacks in the 30s, 40s, 50-year-olds. You know, they ate a lot of fats and they had lard. They ate straight lard, you know, just things that can change. There's lots of things that can change people, an entire group. Also, this same generation that I'm talking about is the generation that went through leaded gasoline. So, yeah. Are y'all familiar with that? They used to put lead in gasoline.
I do.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I do remember.
Yeah, and it was horrific on the brain. It was horrible, and they used to get. Yeah, it was horrible. So there was an entire generation of humans here in the United States, especially, who were exposed to lead pollution.
Man.
And if the kids weren't eating the paint, it was in the car. I mean, you couldn't get away from it back in the day.
That's built in the schools.
This country wanted to kill people. They were like, just let freaking capitalism do what it wants. Let it consumerize everything. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just turn that into something to buy. I like it.
When you remember that this country was started by a bunch of degenerates, it all kind of makes sense. It all kind of makes sense.
What do we make money from?
Yeah.
I remember the guy who invented the lead. Well, there was a problem with knocking cars, and he started putting a whole bunch of different things in it, but finally found that lead would get rid of the knocking and make the cars run more efficiently or sound better. But then they got this award for it or something, and he didn't show up for the award, if I remember right, because he was down in like Brazil recovering from lead poisoning himself. Eventually died of lead poisoning. But they denied it. The oil companies all across America denied it. You know, if you're my age, you might remember cars. My first car was a regular only car, leaded. I'm like, I drive with leaded. I don't give a shit. Why do my kids have 5 toes? I don't know, but you know what I mean. Mega churches abusing staff and volunteers is everywhere. Labor laws do not apply to churches, and churches can fire employees for no reason, and labor department cannot help these people. And it just got worse, Brooklyn Lou, because they've eliminated their gutting OSHA. Yep. So the protections for people who in the workforce gone.
Oh my
they're gutting OSHA.
Gracious. We're gonna go
This
back
is a
to
war
6-year-old in the you know, I don't know, what is it called, with assembly line? Yeah, assembly lines for cars and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Children on assembly line.
Yeah, I mean it's coming.
It's coming. They're already doing it in Texas. But this is a war on the poor. It's a war on the poor.
Yeah.
War on the poor. And was it Florida? It was Florida. DeSantis just signed a bill, or they're trying to pass a law making it to where children as young as 13 can work overnight now, full-time jobs overnight.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Let me look that up for you real quick.
Man, yikes.
We had it. Let's see. Florida child labor. Legislation to loosen child labor laws was written by DeSantis' authors, records show. This was 18 hours ago. This was dropped.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let me go here. This is the Miami Herald. I don't know anything about the Miami Herald. I just pulled it up. It was one of many articles there. Governor DeSantis' offices proposed major rollbacks to the state's child labor laws earlier this year, saying changes made last year to loosen working restrictions for minors did not go far enough. Why are they doing this?
Wow.
Why is Florida doing this? Because they've gone full right wing on the immigrants, and they can't find people to do the work.
Wow.
They can't hire enough people to do the work that needs to be done. So they're moving to let little kids work. The governor's office crafted this year's legislation, which would allow teenagers to work overnight hours on school nights and long shifts without a meal break. The office emailed the proposal and talking points in February. So Senator Jay Collins and Rep. Monique Miller, to those people. So yeah, they're already talking about it. This notion you're talking about having. Do you remember in Schindler's List? Schindler talking to one of the German soldiers about why he needed children, because they could clean out, their little fingers could go inside the barrels of inside the bullet casings to clean out the birds and bullet casings. Yeah. So this is exactly the way these fascists would go. They would work our children as young as they possibly could.
Oh, they probably send them off to war if they could.
Oh, yes.
They did. They would. They are. They have.
Right.
Yeah. Nancy says this administration is slowly normalizing horrifying things. That is so true. And I mean, how far? I'm powerless. I'm just some jackass on the internet. We've talked about that many times. Best I can do is hold a sign and try to support somebody else who's already trying to form a group. Go be part of a group. There's already groups there. Don't form one of my own. Go be part of one. Just go help. Be there, do something. But there are people out there, there are real people out there who can really do something. Yeah. What are they doing? Where's Richard Branson? Where's any of those rich bastards on the left who could counter some of this stuff? I don't know. I'm ignorant about what it's like to be a billionaire. Very ignorant. It may be the silent generation. The greatest generation was, okay.
I remember the silent generation.
Yep. There we go. Let's see. What were they talking about? Let's catch those there. We said the silent generation, 1928 to 1945. Lead in gasoline in the form of tetrahydrolead was first added in the 1920s, with the U.S. phasing out leaded gasoline for on-road vehicles starting in the 1970s, and was completely banned for such use in 1996.
I miss the smell. I will say that.
Damn.
I used to love that smell.
Right-handed Sith. Good morning. Thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me. Sometimes, my brain no good. I know brain good. My brain doesn't brain right. Sorry. Let's see. I'm practicing German, but not for the Nazis. Yeah, no. I mean, we have to have what do you call it? An under, the Maquis, the ones who, the Underground Railroad, the underground fighters who resisted the Germans during World War II in France. And, looking at you, Tsunami.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there are those things. Math Pig, look at the trees. Nice to see you, Math Pig. Wes, good morning, Wes. Thank you for joining us, Producer Wes. Look at the trees, the three arrows movement. Remember, people, the dots are on the carpet. I've been saying that for a while now. But I just knew. I didn't know it was going to be this bad and this fast. Donald Trump has fired how many? Like 13 top generals? Why? Why is he firing all these top? Well, I think he's moving his own generals into place. He's having a massive, what day is it? April, what day is his Sieg Heil party?
Huh.
The parade. They're having a military parade for Donald Trump now.
Wait, what? And they don't
They're having a
weird doing that?
Yes. They're having a military parade for Trump now.
Ouch.
Trump will get his showy and expensive military parade. Now, Trump has been wanting a parade for a long time. The military, the army is going on 250 years. So they were going to celebrate 250 years of being. So Trump is using this as an excuse to have a big military parade on his birthday, which is in June, June 14th.
Oh.
Let's cancel the month of June.
Right. That's around my dad's birthday too. I'm down for that. Let's cancel that shit.
Okay. Great. Good idea.
Yeah. Father's Day in there too. Yep. Let's get all of that.
I remember years ago, I can't remember what year, but I feel like this had to have been like back in 2016 or 15 or something, reading an article about the underground mission, and I can't remember like who it was, maybe it's coming from Russia, to invade like online games and start to win over young boys to like the far right and Nazi type ideologies.
Wow.
And I really think that's how they got in, is hanging out in those. I mean, my son's told me how bad some of those chat rooms get. Thank goodness
yeah.
smart enough, but wow.
They can get pretty bad. And you know, there's not only are there actually people out there working for the Russians, literally sitting down at computers arguing with people in chats and trying to convert people and stuff like that, but they have bots that go around commenting. We saw one get exposed in the news recently. Jesse Barrett, thank you for the $2 super chat. It says Kilmar, Abrego, Garcia, and others sent to a foreign camp. I mean, a lot of this is very parallel to what happened with Adolf Hitler and the Germans. How long did it take before he started rounding people up, hauling them out, before they started finding excuses why they were degenerates and stuff like this? It's the same thing. And Donald Trump, as just mentioned a few seconds ago, why is he getting rid of certain generals and putting people in? That's not counting the dismantling the court system, which he's been trying to do, ignoring them, fighting them, all this stuff. And now he's just trying to get them completely removed. The federal judges removed that disagree with him. There's nothing to stop him from doing these things, you know?
Freaking wild, man.
I just go on about myself, don't I? I guess a birthday party at the McDonald's. Well, part of the deal, I noticed the price tag out there. Thank you for the super chat, Jesse Bear. And there are a lot of people that they've just disappeared. There was a quote from Anne Frank's book about how she was worried because some of her friends would come home and their parents were just gone. They had disappeared, just like what's happening today.
Yeah.
But back then, instead of being immigrants, well, they were immigrants. They were Jews.
Right.
You know?
When they definitely started on the immigrants, they're starting on anybody who's a little too brown.
Yep.
That's right. Trump wants to be a modern day. I held a sign a while back that said exactly that. He idolizes characters like that. He does, and he has. And his history is very much like Adolf Hitler's. Adolf Hitler was actually in World War I. He got injured. He tried to overthrow the German government, got arrested, thrown in jail, came back. Actually, that's when he was, if I remember right, that's when he wrote Mein Kampf. And then he came back and actually took power. Yep.
That's kind of wild how parallel
Just like
that
Donald
is.
Trump.
Well, Donald Trump should have went to jail, didn't, but kind of shows you how much more power he may have.
Yes. Jesse Bear says they also removed shaving waivers for the military, which will force out many people of service members, people of color. It's a medical condition that mainly affects people with curly hair.
Yep.
So in other words, they're trying to expose people who look white but are actually black. Is that what that's about?
I think what they're talking about is like when you shave and you get the like really bad bumps. It's usually from curly hair. So they shouldn't have to shave, but now if they have to shave, I guess it would.
So you're choosing between your skin health or your
I see. Wounds,
so if you can't get that waiver, people are less likely to continue to stay in the military if they have that type. Because my hair does that. After I shave, I have to clean it up a certain way and stuff, but it will grow back into itself. It can grow back into the skin, hair follicle.
Really? Okay.
Painful.
And you know that's one of the other things they've also been doing. Besides, we were talking about what they were doing to trans people.
Yeah.
Because what they do this with trans people, they're forcing trans people to detransition against their will by not allowing them to have their medications, by taking all the. But now Social Security and Medicaid are no longer going to be able to afford weight loss drugs such as Ozempic to people on Social Security. And I really feel like being a slimmer person, even if it takes a shot to do it, is so much easier on your body than being well overweight. You know, the ramifications that come with the foot loss, the diabetes, the blindness, all the things that come with being that overweight for that long. And yet the people on Social Security and Medicaid tend to be of a need in that fashion.
Right.
You know,
and it's about prevention. It will only cost you more down the long run if you can't prevent some of those bad things from happening because of, you know, diabetes, what have you.
Yep.
But then they come up down the road with what they used to call, they accused liberals of wanting, and that's death panels. They'll start what death panels? Well, they'll actually have groups of people going, nope, we don't support that person, or quit. Actually, now they do that in insurance companies now.
Yeah. Oof.
Deny. It's not support, it's called deny. In insurance, they actually have what I would say is death panels, the people who deny the medical care that would save people's lives. Whenever you've been paying money to them, and it doesn't hurt them at all to do this. They would still be rich. They would still be fine. But they deny these people the medical care they need. That's
messed up.
Luigi, Tony B. No Talkie Tony. Good morning, Tony B. No Talk Tony. I dig it. It's way to get rid of the weak. Yes, I've often said that as soon as the wealthy have everything is roboticized or whatever, they no longer need the poor. Like you got robot farms and robot food factories and robot designers and robot factories and all this stuff where they don't need human workers anymore. They'll absolutely go after, and they will. Look at what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're going after the weakest, the poorest. Yeah. Man, I just kind of went off on a tirade. Hey, Elon, if you're watching, man, you can pay me off. I am cheap, only like $120 million. That's all.
That's it. Pocket change for him.
Yes, that was, you'll never hear from me again. But once you're dead, that won't be, if I have anything to say about it, and I'll have $130 million. So, did all that come out? That was just like a stream of thought. Y'all guys ignore that shit. I didn't say any of that. Jesse Bear, removing those waivers will force out many black and brown servers. That's what I thought it meant. Yes, regardless of my misunderstanding of how they were going to use it. Yeah, once you explained it to me, I'm like, oh, yeah. Yep. And it's racism. Absolutely racism. Why are these people like that? It's a part of their brain. I think it's a part of the form of their brain, a brain formation of some kind. That's what I want to think. I don't know if that's true. Good morning, Daryl. Thank you for joining us. Man, the chat is lit this morning.
Right? Yes.
Right-handed Sith. Mark says, the Daily Atheist Show, my price is $100 million a year. Yeah. I was like, is it a contractual situation? How long do I have to be silent?
Right.
There you go. Pragmatic Crystal, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Always good to see you. And Sumami, of course, fun to see something. Because you're right. No, you're right. I've noticed that really it just seems like if there's a worst decision that can be made, they're going to make it. If there's a way to step back as a society, they're going to find that way to take that step back. And I just don't understand. Why would Elon Musk and people like Donald Trump and the uber rich not want cancer research to continue?
Yeah.
Unless it wasn't needed anymore. Interesting. I mean, it's not needed for us. I mean, it's not needed for them, but it would be needed for us and we wouldn't get it. That's what I'm saying.
I feel that.
Am I now I'm a conspiracy shit on the internet. Is that what I've become? But it's only a conspiracy if it's wrong. So, Pragmatic Crystal, Scott Scher, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. I've been sleeping way better since now we have complete imbecile morons in charge of everything.
Sleeping like a baby.
Said. I saw a video on the internet. It said this woman was saying, I understand now why they called Joe Sleepy Joe Biden. It was really appropriate because back when he was president, I could sleep and not worry about the economy collapsing and my finances being gone and the racists in the street. So, yeah. I think, let me go here, Adrian Belgrave. I believe we'll be looking for a cure 20 years from now. I wish we didn't have to wait that long. I wish, Pragmatic Crystal has anybody seen Trina DeLuca? Is she here yet?
I have not seen her.
I haven't seen her yet. Okay, so we'll wait just a little bit longer to see if she shows up. Thank you, Adam, for the Expect a Riot by Bloodywood. Some nice Indian folk metal for all of us in the U.S.
Ooh.
For all of U.S. Thank you, Adam, Roman, for the 25 Polish zlotys. I moved my camera around, so I keep looking the wrong ways. I'm like, oh, there's the camera there. Oh,
Ooh.
So if y'all wonder why I'm looking around like my eyes is crossed. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, Adam. Yes, good. We need some good riot music. Have you guys Les Miserables? You should check that out.
Ooh.
You don't know what that is?
I know what it means, but I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah. You should just watch Les Miserables. At the end of it, they've got this song. It's about it's a riot song. It's a good riot song.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
There's some I actually enjoyed the Russell Crowe episode. I mean, he's not the greatest singer, but I don't really expect a French officer from the 1800s to be the greatest singer.
True.
But it's really good. If you me and the wife, we went down to one of the local playhouses. It's the big one, the big one where the traveling and nationwide companies come through, and they did Les Mis. And the wife was crying 2 minutes into it. I couldn't understand what the hell they were talking about. It was so, the echo in the room, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I got home and I watched it with, Hugh Jackman and Russell Crowe. I loved it. I mean, I was bawling like a baby. I sang the songs like all the time for 3 years.
Dang.
All the time. God on high. Sorry, guys. You'll be okay.
Oh, man.
Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. And then once we come back from that, we're going to go and we're going to do scripture with Darante.
Ooh.
Always fun. These are always fun for me. Let's go. Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is, he is awesome sauce. He's wonderful. Yeah. Check that out. It's great. If you need a good riot song, we're going to overthrow the king song. That's wonderful stuff. Let's see. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I'm going to run this one here. The atheism. We'll be back in a minute.
Life is complicated. These are trying times. There are many questions that need answering. Want to know what's going to help? Atheism. With atheism, you'll get rid of dogma, superstitions, and toxic thought patterns that are holding you back. You can drive while taking atheism, as well as use heavy machinery. In fact, drinking alcohol, fornicating, and Sunday mornings are far more enjoyable with atheism. However, there are side effects. Some evangelicals and fundamentalists will think you are possessed by the devil. But you don't have to worry, because you know the devil isn't real. Just like God. Wake up to your life. Believe in yourself. Believe in science. Atheism.
A couple of seconds, and here we are. And there she is. She was sneaky. Pragmatic Crystal, yes, all you wonderful people. Jesse Bear, thank you for posting that again. Again, though, I do have the one upstairs pinned for you guys. So go up there and go, if you can, throw some coin at these people. They could use the help for some ADA access for their stage and stuff like that. Very much appreciated. Right-handed Sith, the rings of, good stuff. Oh, Wagner. I dig Wagner. Now, Adrian Belgrave, you like the commercial? Well, we actually have, and I'm going to play it here in a little bit, even if she doesn't show up. We have a new episode of Wild Bill Wigglestick. Yes, and he's spreading more Shakespeare. He always has to do a Shakespeare quote. If you don't like Shakespeare, you're probably not going to like Wild Bill Wigglestick. I'm just saying. I even thought about taking just kind of taking the the monologue part and like speeding it up or clipping it out or something, because I found that to be less interesting myself. But once the monologue's over, it's back to being Will. It's cool. And then, of course, Willie the Kid, Anyway, okay, so I'm going to run this little thing here, and whenever here is scripture with Darante. Let's do it.
Welcome back, folks. Today's scripture is Genesis chapter 19. We're going to be looking at verses 30 through 36. It says, Lot and his 2 daughters left Zoar and settled in the mountains. One day, the older daughter said to the younger, our father is old, and there is no man around here to give us children. Let's get our father to drink wine and then sleep with him and preserve our family line through our father. That night, they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and slept with him. The next night, the younger daughter did the same. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. Let's run that back real slow. 2 daughters get their father drunk. They sleep with him back-to-back nights and both get pregnant. And this isn't condemned. There's no divine punishment, no thunder, no thus saith the Lord, this is wicked, disgusting, vile, incestuous, or any of that. Just narrated. It's as if it's just another family tradition, like Tuesday, incest, Wednesday, genealogy update. This isn't a pagan tribe. This is Lot, the same Lot who was just spared from Sodom, the same Lot who gets held up by some as a righteous man, the same Lot who just a few verses earlier offered his daughters to a violent mob. This is the man God chose to save. And now his story ends with incest and silence, like the Bible got uncomfortable and just faded to black. No outrage, no judgment, just trauma turned into lineage. Because those pregnancies, they produce nations, Moab and Ammon, whole bloodlines founded on incestuous assault. So here's the takeaway. If your holy book includes a story where 2 daughters get their father drunk and pregnant and God says nothing at all, maybe the silence is louder than the scripture. And maybe the holiness isn't missing because it was never there. And just maybe you're reading a book about a trailer park. Just had to throw that in there. That'll be today. That'll be all for Scripture with Darante today.
Woo! The silence says more than the scripture, babes.
It does. It
That's
does. You know, go ahead, Ryan.
I said that's
I'm very passionate about this one. Yes, yes.
The fact that they're not named, like everything in this story is everything's against them. They lose their moms, they lose their soon-to-be husbands. Everything has been stolen from them, and all of a sudden, their father is this saving grace somehow. Like he didn't.
And then they're vilified.
Their head, yeah, they're vilified, and he's like the good guy at all this.
Yep. I mean, yeah, the story's told like their father's innocent. You know, they're basically date raping him. They're date raping him. They're roofying their father.
Absolutely, they are. Yes. Now, there's a couple of things I've made notes about here, and this is one of my favorite stories. That's my favorite. Is it? Let's go with who wrote that. Okay, so let's start with there's 3 people. There's a couple of things going on. One is where'd they get the wine from? This is a cave they fled to in the middle of the night. They fled to. Where'd they get the wine from? That's that. But then, I mean, who wrote this? Did the girls? Probably not. Girls weren't literate. Most men weren't even literate. So it's almost certainly the story told by who? Lot. Right. So his Lot story, you know, oh yeah, no, so he comes back from, this is what happened. I know it now. I just figured it out. I wildly cowed it right here on the show. He comes back from the cave and knows his daughters are pregnant. And he's got to explain why he and they were up alone in that cave and they somehow become pregnant. And instead of owning up and saying, you know what, I hit it, but I didn't wrap my, you know, before I hit that crapper, he just says, you know what, they got me drunk. So drunk, I didn't even know what was going on. Doesn't that sound like the excuse of a PDF individual? Anyway, it got me so drunk, I didn't know what was going on. And now here's the thing. At this point, he was an old man. So they got this old man so drunk that he couldn't remember doing the deed, and yet he could still get it up and be virile. Yeah. Not only get it up, but also and be virile. But I mean, he issued nations twice. That's a bullseye.
That's a
2 shots, 2 bullseyes, right? So, I mean, this is a hard story to believe. It really sounds like this tale of, and you know, had to get rid of the wife. He desired his daughters.
Right.
He desired his daughters in a sexual fashion. He fled Sodom with the wife. Got rid of her because he wanted to be alone with the daughters.
That's what I'm
The
thinking.
pervert sexual game plan.
It
right?
is.
Like,
Yeah,
Get rid
yeah.
of the wife, keep the daughters for myself.
Yep.
Yes. And then told the story afterwards whenever he was confronted about it. This is what happened.
I feel
Whenever
like
that
this
city
is a
was
Law and
destroyed.
Order SVU case at this
It
moment.
does. I think we've cracked the code. I think
We
we've
have.
done it right here on the show. I'm going to put this in a clip. I'm going to like, Lot exposed.
Yes.
Atheist exposes Lot.
Oh,
And
man.
then himself. Y'all want to see? All right. Well, that was a good one.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you very much. That's one of my favorite stories. In that story, though, it just happens that there is the villains in the story are all the women.
Oh, yeah.
The women in the story are all, you know, I mean, God does destroy Sodom, so you can just assume that the men who came out to try to grape the angels, they were bad and they, you know, but otherwise, like Ryan said, what were the daughters' names? What was the wife's
Don't
name?
even know the wife.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even worth knowing.
Nope. Not even
You know?
named.
But it really does sure sound, I mean, that makes more sense that's what happened, that he did that and blamed them, than it does when you take the actual story, even without God in it, that they fled to a cave and those girls got him so drunk that he and all that other stuff. And to me, it sounded like they was probably in that cave for a little while, and something tells me it happened more than once.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Or they magically conceived the very first time.
Right. So Occam's razor says it's more likely that he essayed his own daughters over a period of time, like that Franken guy over in Germany.
Ooh.
Franz, you know who I'm talking about?
No? Who?
Austrian. He was an Austrian gentleman. Austrian who kept a daughter. All I had to do is type in Austrian and who.
Stop.
Fritzl. His name is Fritzl. He kept his daughter captive for 24 years and had children with her.
Stop.
Several, in fact. Yes.
Isn't that Elon Musk's dad?
No, but the resemblance is amazing.
Right?
But
Sounds
Elon Musk's dad actually did that, but not with his. Well, he didn't lock her up, but he did have 2 children with his adopted daughter. He adopted her and raised her from the age of 4, and then married her.
That's
Yep.
no.
Yep. Woody Allen did the same thing.
Yeah, and then people still work for him
Yep.
and they make movies with him. Like it's all good. We don't care.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's a picture of the guy. He's a goodly individual. Let me close that advertisement there.
Fritzl.
The
name sounds weird.
Fritzl, just a hard-working looking individual.
Oh God, please. help
Oh
me.
my
that's,
goodness.
Right.
No,
Make it stop.
that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That was
So-
terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, so this is not unheard of. It's not unheard of. And the story, I mean, I hate to be over dramatic about it, but the story of Lot really sounds more like the story of a predatory father who murdered his wife in order to have time with his daughters. And I'm going to make that a video, Darante. You can't steal that
That
from
works. I got you.
No.
Hands off. Hands off.
Am I the only stealer around here? I thought you were an atheist, man. Where's your lack of morals? Where's your lack of morals when I need them?
Oh, man.
Woody Allen, it was his stepdaughter. That's step adopted, and she was older too. I think she was at least in her teens. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not defending. I'm just saying. But this guy here, I mean, he actually locked his daughter in a basement, and had many children with her. Dang, a Chris video on Lot. Oh yeah. I'm gonna turn what we did here into like that video, and I'm giddy right now. And then they'll come after me. You've exposed the truth.
Yeah,
but I've always
man.
said that about Lot. I mean, they didn't really do anything to the people outside. Whenever the angels got tired of their shit, they finally went out there and blinded the men. I think temporarily blinded. It says, and then they ran away. They just went about their way. They told Lot, go here. He said, oh, I can't go there. I'm too weak. I'll have to go here. And he went there. He said he couldn't go where the angels told him to go because he was too weak. I'll have to take my daughters and go to that cave over there.
Yeah, he was afraid. He did everything wrong.
Yep.
And he could convince messengers of the Lord, that he could reason them out of, that always gets me myself. Were there dangly bits involved?
Yep.
Lot made bank selling salt. He did. I wonder if that's where the term "she's being salty" comes from.
Ooh.
Probably not, but I like to think. Yeah, see, it's just one of those things I feel like where it's more likely to have happened. All right, let me turn that off. Stop record.
Ooh.
There we go. Because I like to record those. It makes it easier on me because I'm old.
Of course.
Thank you for the scripture with Darante. That, of course, like I said, is indeed one of my favorite ones. And oftentimes we get this whole notion, and I'd really like your opinion. How do you... All right, so we've got the Old Testament, and a lot of people believe that's God, because that's God, right? That's the work of the God. And then the God said, you know what? I'm not going to do shit in person anymore. I'm going to send like mini-me down there. And mini-me, Jesus came along and said, hey, you do this and you can follow me and everything will be okay. But at the end of the day, when you die, that evil God is still there waiting, watching. Yep. And if you didn't go the right direction, it's going to gobble you up and do the same things that the evil God monster of the Old Testament would do. I mean, it's the same. So Jesus didn't actually change the nature of God. Did he? Okay.
Not that I see.
And my understanding is we didn't really have much in the way of a hell before Jesus. So I wonder if Jesus actually made things worse.
Right?
Did Jesus make things worse?
I think before you just into his parables, quite frankly. They don't understand the difference between an allegory and something to be taken straight face.
Yep.
And he said he liked to talk in frickin' mystery, so he frickin' did one over.
He did,
but I
man.
think the biggest proponent to that was the Vulgate translation. I think that's when things got conflated, like hell.
Oh, yeah.
Hell and Gehenna and Sheol all became like one term when they were all different.
Right. Before then. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of conflagration.
Conflation or whatever.
Conflation.
Yeah,
big word. Smart person word. Nitty says, I prefer Dan McClellan's take. The people walking the earth bore the divine name to do what Yahweh wanted. Sounds good. I keep every now and then I'll post a video or something. Usually happens with shorts. And somebody will tag Dan McClellan. I'm like, hey, man, don't be bringing smart people into this. I'm just talking ass. I'm just waiting to see a video from him going, it'll start off with me. You know do you guys know who Dan McClellan is?
Yeah.
His video always starts out with somebody making a claim, and it'll be my jacket except for going blah, 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 blah. You're going to hell and you're going to hell. And he goes, okay, let's see. And then we'll watch me embarrass myself. But maybe I could get him to come on the show.
Maybe.
That'd be fun. Good morning, Zombie Ghost. Thank you for joining us. Wonder if it's where the term "don't look back" comes from.
Oh,
I don't know.
Maybe.
Revelation. Let's see. Nitty says 2 Peter, Jude, keep that nature. Chat move fast. Grumpy old hermit.
Ooh.
Good YouTube channel. Thank you, Daryl. Is there a grumpy old hermit? Lots of grumpy old hermits around here. Let me see. Okay, so I want to, real quick before we get too far away from it, I want to go over our poll. Again, thank you. That was one of my favorite scriptures, Darante.
Yes.
Brother Darante, that was one of my favorite scriptures. I love the way you walk through it. And I just feel with the spirit. I missed my calling.
Oh,
what would Jesus name his podcast? So far, we have 45 votes. I made a few choices. Other people have left their options. I gave Nailed It. That one so far is leading with 49% of the vote. Dead for 3, Back for Thee. I think that'd be a great Jesus-oriented podcast.
Okay, yes, yes.
Assuming the bitch ever came back.
Right.
I got people arguing at me in my thing. I dropped a video like why Jesus lied, and a whole bunch of Christians, I say a whole bunch, like 2 or 3, have, okay, so like 1 or 2. Okay, so there's one guy, and he says... There's been a couple of them in there coming. Jesus came back in 70 AD. He fulfilled his prophecy. I'm like, no, he didn't. That's not. I mean, it's unfortunate that you believe that, but yeah. Let's see. I filled something, that's for sure. I filled. There we go. Okay, so option number 3, Wine Time with JC.
Oh, that sounds boring.
It really does. I think I'd rather get cannabis involved. I'd be like, hey, have you ever heard of?
Yes.
We got some weed over here. There's bound to be some religion-oriented weed out there. Named. They got good names for it.
Oh yeah.
Bill Castle, thank you for the $5 super chat. How do you respond when a Christian says that was the Old Testament? They want to forget all the bad stuff. See, that's the whole thing.
Stop using the Ten Commandments.
You're right.
Oh yeah. There's so much they could. Yes, Adam and Eve. You don't like it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. You need to get rid of that shit because that's Old Testament.
That's right.
And then really, thank you, Bill, for the question. One of the ways I do that, the way I address it, is exactly how we were talking earlier about how, no, wait a second. The Old Testament is supposed to be God in godly form, doing godly shit. You're viewing into the expanse of God over a period of years, decades, centuries. And this is what the God creature is, as described in its own book.
Yep.
Jesus came along and says a different message. Hey, follow me and shit'll be okay. But if you don't follow me, you still get to face this evil creature of the Old Testament. Jesus doesn't change the nature of God. Jesus just gives you a choice of an afterlife or not an afterlife. Before, you didn't have a choice, really. You're just going to live long or die. All right? Is that like a too condensed way of saying that?
Mm.
Yeah. Because after Jesus, you could go to heaven.
Yeah.
Right, like Ryan said, it's just a matter of time. Yeah. So you could go to heaven or you had to go to hell. But before Jesus, you were just really dead or lived a long time. It's really a too basic a summation. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Jesus made it worse.
Yep.
Before Jesus,
he made it a lot
just
more
died.
confusing. Yeah, he did make it a bit more confusing for people. They wanted something more. When he didn't come back, they started to go a little bit nutso. Like, hey, man, you told us, like, don't even worry about doing ish around here.
Yep.
Like, he was coming back. And time's a ticking. They're like, oh, well, it's okay. You can wait because when you die.
Yeah.
That's when it, yeah.
I got a
they
good
just kept
promise.
moving.
Evolution.
One of the things in my understanding, and this is what, as I went over in my last video, was about how in the earlier books of is it Matthew, the earlier books of the Bible, there's this, he's coming back right now. But by the time they get into the New Testament, Mark, Luke, and John, the further in time they were written, the more loose they came with when he was coming back. And eventually it was like a spiritual warfare. But that's all, I think, interpretive as well. Some people even like to think that Jesus was never on earth. He was always a spiritual warrior and battling between earth and the moon or heaven or some other business.
Well, Paul didn't seem too concerned with Jesus' life because he never met Jesus. Paul was more concerned with the spirit Jesus who revealed everything to him. So that was his only concern. Paul probably was, really the one who...
The Christ of Revelation.
Yeah.
Right.
He really would screw up everything.
And so really, essentially, this is so much more about what Paul wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul's
Really?
Paulinians instead of Christians. And again, I love making the comparison to how Paul is really a lot like a modern day Joseph Smith or an ancient Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
And one part of he followed Christianity. They still call it Christianity, but actually it's what he taught, his version of Christianity.
Yep.
And the real Christianity has been lost to time.
Yeah.
The real teachings of Jesus.
Yep. And I think a lot of that is just thanks to not specifically Constantine, but that kind of, pulling it into the state, making it more of a state religion, like, hey, let's reform it to make people into perpetual victims and, behave better instead of, like, again, kind of like an indigenous, swirl mix of different things. And I mean, not just Judaism, other religions were, swirled in there too, but they like chopped it all up.
Oh, yes.
Well, that was, Islam was actually a moon cult. There was moon cults. They worshiped the moons.
El had 3 daughters or 3 wives or 3 daughters or something like that. Yeah. Which is really cool.
It was. And they used to all kind of be housed in the same place, I believe, there in Mecca. And then eventually the war god won out. His followers killed off everybody else. The war god is Allah. And now his is the only one allowed in there. But at one time.
But Christians would love that to happen for them too. You know, there's not as many like sects of Islam. You know what I mean? It's pretty rigid. But Christians would love if they could do that.
Oh yeah.
They would say like, "Oh, you're so bad. That religion is wrong." Honey, you want what they have. You're just jealous.
Yep. So jelly.
Well, they had it. And it cost they had it. There was a time where the Christians ruled the world and there were only 2 different branches of them and everything besides one, actually, Catholics for a long time. And then it was just the Catholics and Protestants. And if you weren't either one of those, well, currently it's the Muslims and you're either a Shia or a Sunni. And if you're not one of those, but I don't really know enough about that religion to speak to it.
Same.
So.
Man.
Carrie and JT says, I don't believe we had ancient visitors, but on the surface, I'd expect it far more likely to be the other way around. I don't know. All of our, we've had a lot of, if we're going to talk about it, we've had a lot of claims that the military and the government are actually admitting to aliens of various natures. Either seeing them, capturing them, having them, have had them. Just depends on how much, So I love sci-fi. You know me, guys. I'm a sci-fi person. I have a hard time. It's a long way to come to just.
I'm not sure how much I believe the government ever. There's always a reason for the stuff they do. So it's just, I struggle.
Very true. I'll tell you a quick brief story. Whenever I was a kid, me and my dad and my twin brother would be going shopping somewhere. We were always stupid broke, We'd be in a grocery store and we'd be going down an aisle and be like, look at this. Isn't this these are the coolest coffee filters. You guys think I should get these coffee filters? I don't know. And then we just kind of move on, not realizing that on the other aisle directly across from us was the candy or something that we, and he was just distracting us. With something on the other side of the aisle. And that's could be very exactly what the UFO thing is all about. Look over here. Don't pay attention over here.
Right. Little red herring for you.
And, there's just so many things happening in the world. We don't even talk about the Israel and Gaza and all the things, the horrific things that are going on over there. I think that's a perfect example of what happens whenever you get a right wing gets full control of the military and the government. And they have it's hideous.
Agreed. Okay.
Yes. And I don't vilify all Israelites.
Oh God, don't call them Israelites. Please don't.
I don't know what else to call them. Though,
Israelis, sorry, Israelis.
Israelis,
I don't like the conflation between the two because they're different people. And honestly, even calling people back in the time of the Torah, they're Hebrews.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? They're Israelites, not necessarily Jews come out of Judea. Judea comes up in the 7th, 6th century. So it's anachronistic. Sorry. It's just one of the things that really gets to me when people try to make them the same people group when they have a similar shared family pool or whatever you want to call it, shared history, but not necessarily the same group. Anyway, shut up. Sorry.
Nope, I love that. I mentioned that in my book, Christ Held Up. I talk about that because that's where a lot of misunderstandings about the Jesus character comes from. And this is why I often remind people Jesus is a character that represents Judaic supremacy. That's the whole point of this character. To superimpose that first on the other Israelite groups, and then to superimpose that on the rest of the world. That is what his character represents. So I love it when people do call that out because it is very necessary.
It's making a monolithic group out of something that is not a monolithic group.
That is not a monolithic group. Absolutely.
It's that monotheism. It's that erasure. It's intentional. And I'm so tired of scholars who don't see that for what it is.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you for clarifying. The Israelis, modern Israelis, would not. It's not a matter of moderners. Just like we are not Trump, and we don't support Trump. So I can imagine there's Israelis over there who do not support Benjamin.
For sure.
Netanyahu.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a huge portion of the population, but there's definitely people who don't know what do you do when most of the people would come at you because we've seen how they behave if you stood up and said please stop. They're getting beat up over there. They really are. I give it to the people who are so brave because that's gotta be scary.
Yeah.
True. A lot of the things that go on in the world, I mean, we don't talk about them here on the show. It's a morning show. So many people come in here, yay, it's fun. You guys are so much fun. But every now and then we get our
we get a little saucy, a little information.
get our dander up. Get out to holding the signs and stuff. Nitty says yesterday Trump moved. Yesterday Trump insinuated that. No, I saw it. Oh my goodness, I saw it. I can't believe more people have not. Oh, it hurts right here, my friends. It hurts right here. Let me put my glasses on. I take my glasses off sometimes whenever I start to see more than I can understand.
It's just
Okay, so Nitty says, yesterday Trump insinuated that the Nazis were trying to show love with extra meals and smiles to their captives because they didn't have to give them anything, but they gave them food and they gave them beds.
Please
that
tell
was
me
some
that's a
along.
joke.
No, unless I'm mistaken. I hope that's not. I mean, oh yeah, I saw it myself. I saw it.
That's not good. If that is true, that is not good.
And why aren't more people up? Money again. How many people has he bought out? Have they bought out? You know,
Sympathizing with Ike.
yeah.
Oh God.
Trump wants to be. Yeah, we know, Adrian. Yes, indeed. I'm gonna put that on a hat.
Wait,
you know what? I'll
Netanyahu?
tell you. Here's the deal. I can't put that on a hat. I mean, if I go to the Spread Shop or if I go to Teespring or some of that business and I try to create a hat that says Trump wants to be Hitler, it'll tell me no for using bad language.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Screw me, protect Trump and fascist. I saw somebody said something that got y'all's attention over there. What did they say? Something about.
I was just wondering if Nitty had a link, but
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what are we getting a link to? Oh, it's not a joke. Yeah, link. Yes. Oh my goodness, he did. Did he say that to Netanyahu? Which Netanyahu is a modern day Jewish Yahtzee himself.
That's what I do. This is why I'm so confused on what's happening. What's happening?
Free. That's right, Sumami Arbach macht free. Work makes you free. That's the words that were written over. Was it Krakow? Was it Krakow? It was one of the.
Wow.
And
This
that's
is not
what
gonna
I'm
end.
saying. Like the problem never, went away. It just went into these, just like the KKK. It never went away. We didn't, we just insured ourselves against just like the church is doing. We didn't address the problem. We just put little Band-Aids on it. And now these groups have been underground and building their, I don't know, whatever, their powers, their connections. And now they see their chance to poke their heads up. Whack them down like whack-a-mole.
Let's see, Nazis. Let's see here. I'm trying to get this article.
I
up.
remember, Jesse. I remember when you couldn't even compare anybody to Hitler. Like even was just out of the question because it was just so disrespectful. Because there's never been anything so horrible, right?
And yet, yeah. Now the guy openly worships him, and yet we still get dinged for pointing it out and calling it out. It makes me very frustrated. Oof. There are multiple new articles. I'm pulling them up, Jesse Bear. Trump claims Nazi Jewish prisoners with love. Trump appears to make a comment for Nazis. This is the Irish Star, the New Republic. Trump compares Hamas to Nazis. Do you know what the Russians did to the Ukrainians? They told the Russian military were told that they were worshiping Nazis over in Ukraine, and the Nazis were hurting children, and that's what a lot of people of the Ukraine military, the Russian military, believed going into Ukraine, that they were under the control of Nazis.
Thank you, Nancy, for pointing that out. Leopold II of Belgium was much worse than Hitler could have ever been.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good one.
The hands, the chocolate hands. I think I'm not even sure that they've gotten rid of that trend, y'all, if you don't know what the chocolate hands are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I knew Leopold II of Belgium was horrible, and he did horrific things to the peoples of the continent of Africa. I'm not familiar with chocolate hands. Enlighten me.
Up and I mean, again, I think they still might do it where if you didn't perform enough, like if you didn't bring enough cocoa or whatever the product was that they had, which is probably chocolate for, about where are they getting their chocolate? You know what I'm saying?
There's no cocoa in Belgium.
There ain't no cocoa there, sweetheart. So you didn't produce enough, whoop, off with the hand.
Chopped off hands.
Or they would threaten your kid. They would be like, okay, you don't perform, your kid's getting the whack.
Yep.
Or we're going to grape your wife till death.
Yep.
No surprise. No. So, well, those are just more numbers for him to look up to, Trump. I'm sure he probably worships Pol Pot, or he will. Man, Donald Trump appeared to compare the situation of hostages held by Hamas to World War II prisoners of Nazi Germany. During his meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, wow. This guy, how, and to say that shit to the leader of the Israeli state now, to say that to them, to their face. Interesting. It's like giving them license to unalive all the Gazans at will.
I mean, well, we've been doing that ever since we helped them get over there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why? I've often wondered, why are we helping any of this stuff?
Especially by our same logic, we denied black communities of the same thing. We told black communities they could not have an independent nation. We took
they
them
destroyed it every time they built it. They would just destroy the village or the city or what have you, man. Even graves, like they couldn't even have graves of just black people.
Looking at you, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, man. Oh.
Tulsa, Jacksonville, Florida, Rosewood, Florida. Jackson, what was it? Jackson, Mississippi. Back in the 70s, there was a shootout where the FBI killed several black students because they were organizing an organization called the Republic of New Africa. Oh, yeah.
This government just hates liberty.
Nitty says, already used 1 Samuel 15 to justify attacking bunches of people, just saying they are the evil in the land. That's, yeah. And, here's the thing. To some degree, they're not wrong.
Right,
but only to some degree. Well, no, what I mean is that if you look at just like we are not representative of all Americans, like the ones that support Trump, Gazans are not representative of all of Hamas who wants to attack and kill Israel, right? But there are some. There are quite a few people in Gaza who actively attack ahead of time. So whether, I don't know who's to blame for the beginning of the original, those sorts of things, but to be under attack all the time, I don't know. I'm just saying that not all of them they're not wrong. There are some evil people in the land. Their reaction to unalive everyone in the land is not the right reaction. And again, though, when we look at why are those people evil, is because of how they've been treated by the Israelis over time. There was, oh man, I don't even go into it. The settlements and all the shit that they have done. It's so hard.
And since they're not a state, they don't have an army. So it's really, they don't have a choice. Quite frankly, I'm not saying I agree with anything anybody does, but that's the only people they have to kind of do some fighting back. Otherwise, they'd already had done this. I don't know. It's just something that we all billions to them. Yeah,
we all look back on what happened at the start of this country and say it was absolutely wrong. But we are empowering Israel to do it now.
Yeah,
I don't understand that, and so that's why for me, like, it's weird to me that the left, that this is just now becoming a problem for the left. Because this should have been a problem ever since 1942.
Yeah.
Like it's mind-blowing to me.
Yep. Jesse Bear points out that the Japanese internment camps look tame compared to ICE centers. I've heard that the ICE centers where they're keeping these prisoners are horrific. We predicted this. We all said this would come to pass. It is coming to pass. They're talking about deporting legal American citizens. This is essentially putting us all on the gas train, right? It's all on the same trains. I just got to be so Yeah. Got to be a little
Blair
careful
Mountain,
about what
yeah.
we say. Yeah.
You're right about that, Brent. Blair Mountain, yeah.
Blair Mountain. What about Blair Mountain?
What's that? I know Blair Witch.
Ooh.
Not Blair Mountain, sorry.
I enjoyed that movie. I'm sorry. That took me there, but
No, you're good, Brent.
Yeah, it's just I just figure it's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse. This is now Trump's removed all the guardrails. He's been working on that for a few months now.
Yeah, right.
Getting rid of the generals.
Yep,
getting rid of the generals that might resist him. You know, I mentioned that earlier in the show. How many generals have they? Okay.
And he's sadly Trump is smart. He knows whose pocket to get into, like which governors. He's got certain states just willing to bow down and do whatever it is that he wants to do, regardless of saying that it's supposed to be in the state. That's.
Yeah, well, it's a huge mess, and it's not going to be easy to get out of. But like we said at the beginning of the show, the more countries that buck Trump and the worse things get, the more likely things are going to be forced. Hands are going to be forced to situational change. I suspect it'll probably get worse though. Lots of countries out here are saying don't come to America. A lot of people who are in America don't want to leave because they're afraid they won't be able to come back.
yeah.
It's wild, right? It's horrible.
Yeah. It is a shame.
To live your life in this country for however many years and then be afraid to even go vacation or something because you don't even know if you can come back in. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and read our super chats, and then we're going to wrap it up for the day. I want to thank you both for joining me. Let's see. Raven Lunatic for $5 said, I know America likes to live in a bubble, but even if Trump and his cronies want to rewrite history, the rest of the world will still remember. Yes, we just have to remember to save data. We can't leave it all in one place. Notice how I still have hard drives and computers, and if the net were to go down, I would still have my data. But a lot of people are moving up to completely thin clients or mobile devices in which all your data and all the data lives in the cloud. Right.
And I'm just saying, they could make us dumb very quickly. Anyway, for $2, Jesse Bear said Kilmar, Abrego, Garcia, and others sent to foreign camps. Exactly. Prison camps. Isn't that what they're called? Yeah. Prison camps.
Yeah. Then we get free labor.
I guess so, huh? And how much is all this costing the American people? Is Elon Musk going to go run through the Doge and take the Doge to go cut funds for these groups that are hauling these people off somehow? I don't think so.
Man.
Oddly, I don't think. But Trump is trying to make sure that all white South Africans can come to America, no problem, because they are being oppressed. I ain't lying. I wouldn't lie to you here in front of God and everybody. Thank you, Adam, for the 25 Polish zloty. He says, expect a riot by Bloody Woods, some nice Indian folk music for us all, or for all of U.S. Thank you for that. Very much appreciate it. And then Bill Castle for $5 says, how do you respond when a Christian says that was the Old Testament? They want to forget all the bad stuff. That's easy for me. The Old Testament's their God. The New Testament's Jesus telling you not to worry about that God. Just follow me and you'll be okay. Don't look. Don't look over there. You'll be okay.
That was the old God.
That's right.
So your religion has an
Why
old God and a new God.
Shit?
How many gods you got?
Yeah, like how many gods do you have?
Jesse Bear says we pay El Salvador to keep those people in camps, right? I bet a lot of that money is going to people in America, though, right-wing people who own the prisons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who can offshore the monies to El Salvador. Yeah. I bet they're making a lot of coin, too. Anyway, Ben Nine Lives, good morning. Thank you for joining us. We're just now wrapping up the show. I appreciate all of you. Tim Bigler, I like the found footage genre, but also understand that most people don't mainly do the motion sickness. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think Cloverwood, is it called Cloverwood? Cloverfield would have been a much better movie had it not gone that route. It was just so hard for me to watch.
I couldn't even watch it. Like, I think yeah. And I heard that people enjoyed it, but I couldn't be one of those people.
Yeah. Yep, true enough. Me too. I don't really care for the shaky cam. Guys, I am off to save the world. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Darante. Thank you, Ryan. Darante's got a show tonight. Catch it, guys.
Okay.
Yes, and otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for Thursday. Y'all stay safe, everybody. Send safely, my friends.
Happy Weeks Day.
Thank you, and have a great day.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booths, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen